Life is filled with decisions, choices. It's not always easy to make those decisions. But in this episode, we're going to look at something that sometimes stops us from making the right choices. Welcome back. I'm Gila Ross, host of the Power Up podcast, where we share short, relatable ideas that impact and upgrade our everyday lives. Every single morning, there is a series of 15 blessings that we say as we become aware of the different phenomena that we have in our life, and we thank Hashem, we thank God for them. And it reminds me of a story that a friend posted this week. He said he went to his rabbi and he asked his rabbi, he says, "Rabbi, it's been such an awful 2 years. We had Corona. We had the terrible tragedy in Iran. We had the awful situation in Israel with the rockets and the anti-Semitism across the world. And then he also had an illness in his family." He said, "Rabbi, what on earth is going on?" And the rabbi turned to him and said, "Yes, you're right. But also, in the past 2 years, you got married. We got the vaccine, which was able to bring the number of cases and hospitalizations down. There's a ceasefire. Yes, all these things are all happening. And our perspective and what we choose to focus on makes a huge difference. So when we wake up in the morning, we stop and we become aware of all the different blessings that we have in our life, and we show our gratitude to the source of of those blessings, which is God. And we start with one that is so important, but we don't often stop to think about it. We live in a world where it's often confusion. We don't know what to do, but we have a responsibility to make good choices. Listen to the first blessing we make. We thank God, the source of all our blessings, for giving us the ability to differentiate between day and night. We know it's a new day, and on a deeper level, the ability to differentiate between right and wrong. God gives us our intellect, and we have a responsibility to use it to make good choices. But sometimes we can get in the way of ourselves, and I'll share with you a little story that illustrates this. A few years ago, we were on holiday, and I was taking pictures. And I kept realizing that the pictures were all flawed. They all seemed to have a black dot on it. And the first few pictures, I was just like, oh, I did a bad job taking that picture. And I did a terrible job with that picture. After about the fourth or fifth picture, I cottoned on and realized, hold on a second. The issue is not with what the picture is. The issue is with the camera. And sometimes it's the same thing. We have the intellect and we have the differentiation, but we bring our own biases to it, and we bring our own fear. Sometimes we can have the information, we know the difference between right and wrong, we know what the truth is, but our fear stops us from following the truth. What do I mean by that? What is that fear? That fear is the fear of the unknown. We are afraid that if we follow the truth, then that light is going to make us make lifestyle changes, and we're afraid of those lifestyle changes. We're afraid that following a life of a closer connection to Hashem, to God, to Torah, to mitzvahs, is going to make us unhappy and miserable. We don't know that it will, but we are afraid that it will. We have a fear of the unknown. So we have to take the knowledge, the intellect that God has given us, and we have to use it to know what the information is right there. And we have to understand that this fear of the unknown is exactly that. It is a fear of the unknown. We don't know that it's going to make us more miserable. We're not stopping and thinking and realizing how much beauty it's going to bring to our life. Think of the last time that you chose right. You chose to do good. And think about how much beauty, how much meaning that brings to our life, and use that to conquer the fear of the unknown. And sometimes it's just simply telling ourselves, I don't actually know what's going to be. So we have to use this intellect. We have to become aware of this intellect that God has given us. We have to thank God for this incredible ability to know right from wrong, to know what to do and when to do, to know when to be quiet and when to talk. And we have to use that to overcome our fear of the unknown and to make great choices. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your feedback. You can get in touch with me you can find me on Instagram at @GilaRoss, and please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful day.